I am so happy to meet you, and I know you don't do this a lot, so there's like a mystery around you. You don't do these things a lot.
Yeah, I'm kind of like a groundhog.
Remember that mischievous grin of Kevin McCallister? The boy who made us laugh and cheer in Home Alone? That child, Macaulay Culkin, had the world at his feet, earning $17 million before he was 14. But fame isn't always kind. What happens when the spotlight blinds you instead of guiding you? Behind the lights and millions was a darker world. A controlling father, a family torn apart by greed, and a young boy burdened by the weight of an entire industry. Then, just like that, he vanished. No more movies, no more smiles. So, what really happened to the boy who had it all? How did Hollywood's golden child become invisible? This story isn't just about fame, it's about betrayal, heartbreak, and survival. Trust me, you won't want to miss a single twist. Macaulay Culkin's story didn't start with red carpets or flashing cameras. It began in a cramped New York City apartment on August 26, 1980. He was the third of 7 kids, growing up in a noisy, chaotic home where dreams were bigger than the space they lived in. His mom, Patricia, had been a Broadway actress, and his dad, Kit, was a struggling stage actor. Performing wasn't just something the Culkins did. It was woven into their lives, their identity. Macaulay, or Mac as his friends called him, was a curious, energetic kid with a wild imagination. He loved making people laugh, and he had this spark, this mischievous charm that made him unforgettable. Even back then, he had a knack for slipping into different characters, acting out scenes for his siblings in their tiny living room. He loved playing video games, goofing around with his brothers and sisters, and getting lost in the magic of movies. But things weren't always easy. The Culkin household was filled with love, but also with struggle. Money was tight, and with so many mouths to feed, every day was a hustle. Kit, his father, was tough, demanding, and had big dreams. Not just for himself, but for his kids, especially Macaulay. By the time Mac was 4, his parents were pushing him into small acting gigs. TV commercials, theater roles. Can you imagine? A little boy, barely out of diapers, already learning to charm a crowd. But he loved it. The stage felt like home, a place where he could be anything, anyone. And he had this magnetic energy that people couldn't ignore. Then came Home Alone, the movie that changed everything. Almost overnight, he wasn't just a kid from New York, he was a global superstar. At just 10 years old, he earned $100,000 for that film. Then came Home Alone 2, and his paycheck skyrocketed to $8 million. With hits like My Girl, The Good Son, and Richie Rich, Macaulay was raking in millions, eventually earning an estimated $17 million by the time he was just 14. But behind that adorable grin and those record-breaking paychecks was still just a kid, a boy who loved video games and making his siblings laugh, now carrying the weight of an entire industry on his small shoulders. Little did he know, the real challenges were only just beginning. Imagine being just a kid, watching your family crumble under the weight of fame and fortune. Your fortune! Macaulay Culkin wasn't just earning a few dollars. By the time he was 14, he had amassed a staggering $17 million. But he had no control over it. His parents, especially his father, Kit, held the reins, and that money quickly turned into a weapon in a war that would tear the family apart. Kit Culkin wasn't just a father. He became more like a tyrant. He saw Macaulay not as a son, but as an investment, a golden ticket to the life he always wanted. He managed every aspect of Macaulay's career, negotiating contracts and pushing him into back-to-back films no matter the cost. Kit demanded more money, more control, and more power, and he didn't care who he hurt in the process. The pressure was relentless, and Macaulay's childhood was slipping away. At home, the tension was unbearable. Kit and Patricia's relationship became a battleground. The fights were brutal, shouting matches that echoed through the house, often with the other kids caught in the crossfire. For Macaulay and his 6 siblings, home wasn't a place of comfort. It was a war zone. The constant arguing, the accusations about money, the bitter resentment, it created a toxic environment no child should ever endure. And through it all, Kit's control tightened. He didn't just manage Macaulay's career, he micromanaged his life. Kit's demands were harsh, and his behavior became increasingly abusive. Macaulay has spoken about the emotional manipulation and the suffocating pressure, once admitting, It was never about me. It was about what he wanted and how much money I could bring in. Imagine carrying that burden as a child, knowing your father saw dollar signs where love should have been. For Macaulay, the breaking point came at 14. Exhausted and disillusioned, he walked away from acting, seeking refuge from the chaos. It wasn't just the end of a career, it was an escape. He needed to reclaim his childhood and find himself beyond the spotlight. But the damage had been done. The fortune he had earned was no longer his alone. His parents had access to his accounts, and reports suggest that a significant amount had been spent. The family that had once been united by dreams of success was now fractured by greed and betrayal. For the other Culkin kids, the household was a war zone. They were bystanders in a tragedy they couldn't control, left to navigate the aftermath of their brother's fame and their father's ambition. The final blow came when Kid and Patricia's marriage completely fell apart. Their divorce was a public, bitter battle, with Macaulay's fortune at the center of the chaos. They fought over custody, but it wasn't just about who would take care of Macaulay. It was about who would control the millions he had earned. At just 15, Macaulay made a desperate and courageous decision. He sued to remove his parents from controlling his finances. Can you imagine the strength it took? Standing up to the very people who should have protected him. It wasn't just about the money, it was a fight for his freedom, his identity, and his sanity. But by then, the damage was done. The emotional scars ran deep, leaving Macaulay forever changed. He wasn't just a child star anymore, he was a survivor, carrying the weight of betrayal and a family torn apart by greed. By 2004, the world would see just how deep those wounds ran. In Oklahoma City, headlines screamed his name. He had been arrested, caught with marijuana, Xanax, and clonazepam. The boy who once brought joy to millions was now photographed in a mugshot, his eyes filled with a mix of defiance and exhaustion. The drugs weren't for profit. No, this was personal. An attempt to numb the pain, to quiet the demons that fame and family turmoil had unleashed. But the arrest was more than a legal issue. It was a glaring mirror reflecting how far he had fallen. For the first time in years, Macaulay had to confront the reality he had been running from. Avoiding jail, he received deferred sentences and court-ordered drug treatment. It was a lifeline, one that forced him to face the shadows he tried to escape. The world watched, some judging, others hoping. Would this fallen star disappear completely, swallowed by the same darkness that had claimed so many child actors before him? But deep down, something shifted. That arrest, as humiliating as it was, became a wake-up call. Macaulay began to realize that regaining control wasn't just an option, it was a necessity. The road back wouldn't be easy. Setbacks would come, and public scrutiny wouldn't disappear overnight. Yet, he took those first painful steps, proving that even after fame's highest highs and addiction's darkest lows, there was still a chance for redemption. After the public spectacle of his arrest, it seemed like Macaulay Culkin had vanished completely. The once cherished child star became a recluse, shunning the spotlight that had once defined him. The world speculated. Where was he? What had happened to that bright-eyed boy? Behind the scenes, Macaulay was waging an even greater battle, one for self-discovery and healing. He drifted away from Hollywood, retreating from the glare of fame and all the expectations it carried. Instead of movies, he found solace in quieter, simpler things. He played in a band, the Pizza Underground, a quirky, bizarre parody group that covered Velvet Underground songs but replaced the lyrics with pizza references. Some called it strange, others saw it as a sign of a man trying to find joy in the absurd. For Macaulay, it was freedom, a chance to express himself on his own terms, away from the suffocating expectations of his childhood. In these invisible years, Macaulay was rebuilding. He started painting, writing, and embracing a more bohemian lifestyle. Fame had taken everything from him, his childhood, his trust in others, but it had also given him one priceless lesson: the importance of authenticity. He began reconnecting with his siblings, particularly his brother Kieran, who had also pursued acting but at his own pace, away from their father's shadow. Their bond grew stronger, a lifeline back to the family love that fame had nearly destroyed. Then, like a phoenix rising from the ashes, Macaulay re-emerged, but on his own terms. He made a triumphant return in the 2019 film Changeland, directed by his friend Seth Green. It wasn't a blockbuster, but that wasn't the point. Macaulay wasn't chasing fame anymore. He was chasing fulfillment. He appeared on talk shows, his humor sharper than ever, showing the world that he hadn't lost his spark. When asked about his past, he spoke candidly, with a mix of humor and honesty that was both heartbreaking and inspiring. He even addressed the memes and jokes about his disappearance, playfully embracing them. The boy who had once felt trapped by his own success was now rewriting the narrative. No longer a victim of his past, he was owning it, transforming pain into strength. Macaulay Culkin found something he had long been searching for: stability. His journey to peace began in 2017 when he met actress Brenda Song in Thailand on the set of Changeland, a film directed by his close friend Seth Green. The two quickly bonded, and their relationship blossomed into a deep, supportive partnership. For Macaulay, a man who had long been haunted by his childhood and turbulent family life, this new connection brought a sense of calm he had never known before. Brenda Song, who had already made a name for herself as the beloved character London Tipton on Disney's The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, had transitioned into more mature roles in recent years, including in The Social Network. Their relationship was not only grounded in love, but also shared experiences in Hollywood, making it even more special. In April 2021, the couple welcomed their first child, a son named Dakota, in a deeply meaningful tribute to Macaulay's late sister Dakota, who tragically passed away in 2008 at the age of 29 after being struck by a car in Los Angeles. The name reflects the love Macaulay still holds for his sister and the desire to honor her memory in a tangible way. In late 2022, Macaulay and Brenda welcomed a second son, though they chose to keep his name private, maintaining their family's privacy amidst the public eye. Fatherhood brought a new light to Macaulay's life. It was a chance to rewrite his own story, one in which he could break the cycle of the tumultuous childhood he experienced. He once shared, "I'm trying to raise a good kid. I want to give him the childhood I never had." For Macaulay, this commitment to being a present and loving father has become his greatest aspiration. Today, Macaulay continues to live life on his own terms. In December 2023, he received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a long overdue recognition of his impact on the film industry. During the ceremony, Macaulay's emotional tribute to Brenda highlighted the deep love and gratitude he feels for her. Macaulay Culkin is making waves again. He will be the star in Season 2 of the highly anticipated Fallout series on Prime Video. In this post-apocalyptic drama, Culkin takes on the role of an erratic genius, promising to bring a new and unpredictable energy to the show's dynamic world. This project marks another exciting milestone in his comeback, following acclaimed roles in The Righteous Gemstones and American Horror Story. As production gears up for the next season, fans can look forward to an expanded universe filled with new factions and terrifying monsters. Culkin's return to high-profile roles underscores his remarkable journey back to Hollywood prominence after stepping away from the spotlight for years. What really happened to the boy who seemed to have it all? Behind that mischievous grin was a child locked in battles no one could see, against an overbearing father, a family torn apart by greed, and the crushing weight of expectations that no child should carry. He didn't vanish because he failed. He disappeared because he needed to heal. Through years of struggle, self-discovery, and confronting his darkest demons, Macaulay Culkin found his way back, not to the spotlight, but to himself. Today, he's stronger, more grounded, and truly free. He's embraced a life filled with love, fatherhood, and creative projects that bring him joy, not just fame. Who once made the world laugh is now a man who's learned to live on his own terms. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Stay tuned for more incredible journeys, because behind every star is a story worth hearing.